About a month ago, Batman Arkham Shadow was announced to be releasing exclusively on the Meta Quest 3. This had a ton of VR gamers excited, but everyone else in the world was clowning on it. Not because it looked bad, I mean they didn't give us any gameplay, so there would be no reason to say the game looked bad, but the only reason they were upset was because it's only going to be releasing on a VR headset, absolutely already ruining the game's reputation before it could get an official trailer. Now we have to keep in mind that all gamers hating on the game were huge fans of the original Batman Arkham games, dating all the way back to 2009 with the release of Arkham Asylum. No, I absolutely love the Arkhamverse, besides whatever this was.
We done with your bad stand-up routine.
Which, let's be honest, the developers at Rocksteady who worked on the Batman Arkham games are all gone now. And the main consensus of Arkham Shadow is this. Warner Brothers is a company that only cares about how much moolah they get, and saw the slow rise in VR and decided to capitalize on it with an existing franchise, and this was only done for money, and they could give less of a crap about their fans. None of what I just said was true. Okay, maybe a little bit about corporate greed, but the ones that actually pitched the idea were the developers over at Camouflage. In a recent interview on the BMF YouTube channel, the lead developer of the game, Ryan Payton, sat down and talked about this interaction with the company.
It all started with a phone call from Meta as we were wrapping up Iron Man VR, and they had played the game. Well, and they said they loved it, and they thought that we would be the perfect developers to do an even bigger game than that, a Quest 3 exclusive, big holiday title for 2024, as not just as a Batman, fully realized Batman game from the ground up, built for VR, but a official, authentic, new entry into the Arkham franchise.
Warner Brothers were not going to make another Batman Arkham game. If they hadn't pitched this, there wouldn't be an Arkham game at all. So everybody blaming Warner Brothers for making it a VR game really shouldn't be blaming them. And no, I'm not saying you should be upset with Meta or Camouflage, because all Camouflage was trying to do was bring a series they were a huge fan of and adapt that to a medium they are passionate about. Now, I have 3 reasons why I think Batman Arkham Shadow will be a success. Number 1, like I said earlier, the developers at Camouflage are really big fans of the Arkham games. A piece of evidence is in the teaser trailer for the game. Big fans of the Arkham games noticed a lot of small Easter eggs in the teaser. In only 30 seconds, they showed some recognizable scenery from the Arkham games, hinted some characters that might show up in the game, and potentially the big bad villain of the game. This shows that Camouflage put a lot of time into understanding the world and characters of the Arkham games, more so than Rocksteady does now. Now, all these speculations about what the game's characters and story was going to be like was exciting to see. VR games typically don't get this much attention, let alone get this much attention in a trailer. And the other information we had on the game was that there was going to be a story trailer on June 7th at the Summer Game Fest event. Once Summer Game Fest arrived and we got the trailer, we definitely got a better feel of what the game was going to be like. Sure, there was still no gameplay, but we finally got to figure out who the voice of Batman is, and that is Roger Craig Smith. Now, this had a lot of people excited now. Kevin Conroy will always be the real Batman, but Roger Craig Smith is a close second choice due to his work in Arkham Origins. And the fact that Shadow is between Origins and Asylum makes this casting for Batman even better. Now, another reason you should have faith in this game is because of the previous title Camouflage released, which was Iron Man VR. Originally a PSVR exclusive, but was later ported to the Quest after Meta bought the studio. Iron Man VR actually received very positive reviews, claiming that the game does a really good job of making you feel like Iron Man and Tony Stark at the same time. A big part of the superhero is how their personal life is being handled outside of just being a superhero. In my opinion, Iron Man VR did an amazing job of showing the mistakes Tony Stark had made, and the consequences that could be followed. This was the first time I had actually been invested in characters and story in a VR game. This gives me a really high hope for Arkham Shadow, because I want to feel the dynamic of Bruce Wayne and Batman. And Camouflage has proved that they can deliver a superhero story, and hopefully they can expand on what they learned during the development of Iron Man VR, and apply that to the Quest 3. Now, graphically, Iron Man VR looks okay on Quest 2, but definitely loses a lot of the quality of textures that were present on PSVR. The cool thing about Batman Arkham Shadow is that the game is being developed exclusively for Quest 3, meaning the game won't come out for Quest 1 or 2, and will be using the more advanced capabilities of the Quest 3. The lead developer of the game has this to say about the situation.
And we weren't sure if we were going to hit performance on when we were developing early on, when we only had access to Quest 2, for example, knowing that the next hardware was coming. And so what a sigh of relief for the team when we finally get the dev kits and we know we're going to be on Quest 3, and I'm not exaggerating, I'm not making this up. We were not only relieved, but pleasantly surprised to the degree of which the hardware was able to handle the game and just instantly allow us to hit frame rate, which was just so wonderful for the team. So we didn't have to scale down the game. We can really just execute on what our original vision was over the last 3.5 years. Guys, we have to figure out real-time shadows with this game. Ryan, point to some other good, great-looking Quest games that do real-time shadows. We're going to do it, guys, because we have because we're on Quest 3 and we've got a really talented team. We can do it. And all credit goes to the team. In a fairly short amount of time, they were able to get performant, great looking real-time shadows working on Quest 3. That not only enhances the environment with like shadows being casted into these environments with like, fans and those kind of classic ways to do it. The enemy shadows, so you know where enemies are going around the corner, which you don't oftentimes get in a lot of VR games these days, right? Mm-hmm. And then lastly, when you are just walking down a hall and there's a light behind you, you see Batman's shadow ahead of you, and you're just reminded that you are Batman, right? And that is a magical feeling.
Now, Batman Arkham Shadow has been in development for 3.5 years, and they had originally pitched the idea to Warner Brothers 4 years ago. It is really great that the studio is getting this time from Meta to work on the game. Unlike The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Retribution, which had around 2 years of development, and when released was a buggy mess, it seems that Camouflage has actually gotten the time they need to make a really good game. Another thing is that it seems that Meta has given Camouflage a lot of money to make this game as good as possible. Meta have recently been listening more to the fans. They know we want games. It's literally the only reason why we use VR headsets. It's because of gaming. Recently, Meta have been putting out some really good AAA titles that put the PSVR 2 library to shame. In less than a year's time, we have titles like Asgard's Wrath 2, which got a 10 out of 10 from IGN. We also got Assassin's Creed Nexus, which gave us a true Assassin's Creed experience in VR, where you get to explore all the iconic locations from the flat screen games. Meta clearly have been putting millions of dollars into getting these titles out, because no other VR headset has games to the quality or length as Assassin's Creed Nexus or Asgard's Wrath 2. I mean, Meta is paying Camouflage to make a Batman game. Not just a Batman game, but a Batman Arkham game. And this gets me so incredibly excited for this game. Now, I understand that no gameplay has been revealed, which makes my rambling pretty useless, and once we get gameplay, if it looks like trash, then I'll probably look like the biggest idiot in the world, but I don't really care, because I have faith in Camouflage. They can deliver an authentic Arkham experience where you really get to feel like Batman or Bruce Wayne. Alright, I'm gonna stop yapping, but if you want to stay up to date to Arkham Shadow, I will definitely be following this game closely until it's released this fall, so make sure to like and subscribe. And I also understand that there's also been an Arkham VR game that's been released, and I might make an upcoming video about how like the things that worked in that game and the things that didn't work, so that Arkham Shadow can improve upon these things. And there's a lot of things that I liked about Arkham VR, and then there's a lot of things I did not like, specifically its length. It literally took me like an hour and a half to complete. Very short game. But anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I will see you guys next time. Peace and bye bye.